Okay, so you can have to reverse flows, you can pass it to the recirculation line, you can de-air, you can resync, you have to do a lot of things. Now, again, stop. Salient features, there are a lot of things which you should know, and you must develop a protocol for it. Is that you must stop the pump, you must de-air the circuit, you must cool, you can institute retrograde cerebral perfusion, you can use cerebral protective measures in anesthetic system and high flow. Then once you reinstitute bypass, please have a high flow, high pressure. You can even give adrenaline. The idea is ram the air to the most distal point. First try to get the air out. But once you get whatever you have done now, try to ram it as distally, so that if you have an infarction, have a smallest possible infarction. Delay warning. Okay? Keep the patient hypothermic. Do not make the mistake of rewarming up to 37. Keep it at 35, 34, 35. Delay protamine as much as possible. You want gas to absorb, you don't want clots to form in the brain. Okay? If you have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, people know there are hyperbaric oxygen chambers. There are two currently in India. One is in Mumbai, the other is in Bangalore. So if you are in Mumbai and Bangalore, you have the option of sending to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. But in other places, you may not be able to do it. You keep a high MAP. Mean arterial pressure post bypass has to be kept high. Low CVP, the patient's head must be kept in the neutral position. You keep the patient cool for a period of around 24 hours. Don't try to get the patient up. You use hypothermia as a cerebral protectant. Okay, this is one of the things which are there. Another. Okay, now he is telling, sir, PO2 is 60, 50, 40. Manage. PO2, 40. I can't manage, sir. 40, 60, 40. You're happy, unhappy? Unhappy. Manage. What is happening?
Oxygenator.
Is it oxygenator defective all the time?
No.
Perfect.
You just saw oxygenator defective, but I not saying oxygenator is defective.
You have to check the oxygen supply to the pump.
Whether there is gas going. First check whether gas is going. We have the blender. It can get waterlogged. This thing by moisture it can get. Sometimes you may even have to bypass, run it on 100% oxygen. Understood? Worst comes to worst, bypass the blender if you want. So you will have to tell the perfusion, sir, I can't manage. Junior perfusion doesn't know. You said bypass the blender, directly put one option. Run it on 100% oxygen. See what happens. By that time you can check the blender, bang, do this, check that the FiO2, first step is check that the FiO2 is correct. It may be 21% it is not running. Then increase the FiO2, increase it. Yeah. Then go to 100%. Then still not working, then sweep gas has got nothing to do with whether there is flow. Oxygenator is having adequate flow, done. Then what time is it again? Don't forget. Now there is a simple rule in aviation. If the plane is taking off and there is a problem, what does he do? He doesn't stop. He is given priority and lands again. If he is near his destination and there is a problem with the plane, he is given the right of landing as quick as possible. So most accidents occur at the time of taking off or landing, isn't it? Very rarely that it happens during cruising. Same thing in CPB, most accidents occur at the time of initiation of bypass or at termination of bypass. So it all depends on what stage you are in. If you are going on bypass and he says you cannot oxygenate, it is safer to come off bypass. Means don't forget that if you have gone on bypass and you want to come off bypass, ask the anesthetist to ventilate. Don't forget that. This sounds stupid, but coming off bypass, ventilator on has to be the. You might have noticed, but when I say 25-75, ventilator on, that word must come. Understood? Whether you like it or not. People have done this mistake. come off bypass without oxygen on. So put the way, if in the middle, then you are in the problem. Then you must rapidly cool, what is called as crash cooling, because you are going to have to change the oxygenator. This is a thing which you actually have to practice. Perfusionists have to practice. If I want to change the oxygenator, I'll say I'm going to say that you change the oxygenator. What will he do? You know what he will do if you have to change the oxygenator?
All the systems, we need some additional initial
So
clamps.
if he wants that, one of the first things that I have to do is I have to provide him extra clamps.
Because what
Why?
we have is, we'll have 1 clamp or 2 clamps additional on the pump. But now when you want to replace the membrane, at least I will need 5 other additional clamps.
So remember,
Which I will not be keeping on my left hand or right hand side. So I'll be taking from the tabletop. So because of additional clamps, what I have, because of venous and arterial are already clamped. So now I need additional clamp to go near the membrane. Where a membrane inlet, gas inlet, outlet, all these recirculation clamps, all these 4 to 5 clamps
are required. Okay. So remember, you need to provide him clamps. Very often in a small center, you may not have enough clamps, so you might have to give him the clamps. Okay, you remember, I have kept some clamps. Give him some clamps to clamp. This is a very dangerous situation you are in. Now you have rapidly cooled and you are changing the oxygenator. So you have to give him clamps. He will change. He will drop. You can change depending on the situation. If it is a clogged circuit, you would have to change everything. But if it is not a clogged circuit, you will only change the membrane. Okay? Clotted circuit.
Sir, I have one question. Supposing we are operating on patient who is in a pediatric population, changing the oxygenator means loss of a significant amount of priming bulk. So what
You have to then add blood. If you can manage to keep one option is you have cooled, you can store it in the reservoir. But if you have clogged your reservoir,
if it is not clogged,
then store it in the reservoir. Yeah,
but how to give it in the new reservoir?
You will change only this portion. No? This is only around 100 ml.
So whatever required is only the 100 ml or one. In pediatric is 100 or 110 ml. So only that part of
That part will change. Okay, but he has to do
This
it.
part you use.
Yeah, he can. Remember, all of these can be detached. The reservoir and the thing is not one unit. It can be. Just see here.
Even the Terumo can be covered.
Every oxygenator is designed this way that the reservoir and there is no oxygenator where it is fused together for this reason. You have an option to change the reservoir. You have an option to change the oxygenator part unit. Here show you. This has to be practiced. Perfusionists have to practice to do it. In the perfusion exam, we actually ask them to change an oxygenator within minutes. Okay.
So we can take it only the membrane. So you can try one.
Earlier, in our center, we are not habituated to take